No way. We're rounding down. Late is if I'm over 30 seconds late. I can give old man intro later. Hey everyone. I have to change this stupid intro to just being like, hey, come hang out with us while we, I don't know, just watch videos on the internet. Um, oh, the first thing I wanted to do was tier website. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like figure this one out. What's up? What's up, guys? I know we, the old man intro is really classic. I want to um find another tier list. Like I want to do Harry Potter stuff, the characters. But I want to rehouse all the characters. I don't want to have debates about this. I need a character list, but some of the character lists are massive and some of them are crappy. There's a lot of Harry Potter stuff here. I know. I want to talk about that. I think it's in good hands. I think it's in very, very good hands. What's up, Chewy? How's it going? I know. I'm gonna talk. I'm definitely. I definitely want to talk about the. Let's talk about that actually right now. Harry Potter writer rumors. No, not Joe. No. What's her name? Someone tell me what her name is. I know we are. I'm gonna cause some massive drama. If I know, wait, ranking the houses, make it of all the people. 40. You want to really make me? All of you guys would be S tier, obviously. You're gonna make me make some enemies here. What's up, Avery? How are you? Yeah, we all know which house is the best. That's like that would be the most boring video. It would be like, you know, Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw. You guys are, you know, C tier, and then Hufflepuff's the best. Hufflepuff is easily the best house. I don't know. I don't really know what you guys are on about if you don't think Hufflepuff is the best house. But Hufflepuff is clearly the best house. So you guys were saying in one of the crosswords that we were doing that this writer is confirmed Harry Potter nerd. It's not giving me a ton of information. All right, I'll find out something later and then I'll watch that. I want to do this tier thing. There's probably pages and pages and pages of this stuff. Sorting Harry Potter. Maybe they have a tier list with that? No. One Direction, all songs. Yeah, she's casually dropped references, and that's just a good enough sign. If you're casually dropping Harry Potter references in things that you're doing, you know that you're, you know, a fan. What's a good character list? Harry Potter characters. I need to open these in new tabs to really see how many characters there are. How many freaking people are in this Harry Potter canon? What is that one? Harry Potter characters. Harry Potter creatures. We could do a creature ranking. That's kind of fun. Ranking of the movies. All right, let's look at this. This is like none of the characters. That's a crap list. That's not bad. That's, ooh, I like this one. I like a little bit less. Like, I don't care about resorting Blaze Zabini, but I do care about sorting Rita Skeeter. Ooh, I like this. I like a little abbreviatedness. Who's in this that we don't care about? I don't really care about Myrtle. I don't really want to sort Myrtle, to be honest. Um, Scabior? What is this one? Harry Potter canon tier list. Oh, this is kind of a fun one. I actually really like this. This is cool. I'm actually gonna do this one real quick. Um, dang, this is gonna be hard. Eh, Am I gonna be just a nerd and sort? I mean, all the books go in O. Am I wrong about that? What is this? That's a book, right? I can't tell what the covers. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the seventh? All the books go in O tier, I think. I feel like that's an obvious one, right? I love Fantastic Beasts. I love Quidditch Through the Ages, but Fantastic Beasts I think is the best. I like Tales of Beetle the Bard too. Not as good as Fantastic Beasts. I love this movie. It's a great movie. Crimes of Grindelwald. P. I don't care. Movies. It's a good movie. Not huge into it. Definitely a great movie. Eh. What one is this? This is the fifth one, right? Great. This is the sixth one. I love the sixth one. I have a special affinity for the sixth one, but I'm gonna put the sixth one in there. I love that one. And this one kind of belongs. No, I'm not gonna put it that low. That one belongs there-ish. Crimes of Grindy should be T for canon. It doesn't break that much canon, guys. Guys, you guys are ridiculous. A plot hole in Fantastic Beasts. When did Dumbledore and Grindelwald have time to make a blood pact? I don't think a blood pact takes that long to make. What do you mean? Why is that a issue? I know they didn't put secrets. Secrets would probably be here for me. It's like secrets is like straddling this line. It commended. It made these errors better. I don't think it was as good as Fantastic Beasts though. It's like right on the cusp here. Hold on. This is too many characters. This is too few. Oh, these are the beasts. Rank. What is this? This is. Oh, that's a. Is that a Fang? Not enough cool beasts in there for me. Okay. I think this is a good one to. No, this one isn't because I don't care about these. What is this list? This isn't. Is Harry even in this list? Oh, here. That list is not great. I kind of like this list a little bit better. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to take this list. So I want to resort all these characters. I don't care about this list. I don't care about that. Let's delete ones we don't really care about. Can I delete? I can't. Bummer. Yeah, let's just sort all these characters. Why not? Okay, and I don't mean, and when I say sort, I don't mean, also, I'm very excited to watch these two videos. Jable sent me these. 10 most debated Harry Potter topics that will divide fans. Cannot wait for that one. And the real reason Snape told Voldemort about the prophecy. So, buckle up. Because we're going to watch that soon. Okay. Gryffindor. I never Gryffindor. The spelling of Gryffindor always evades me. I just don't want to look like an idiot when I misspell it, and all you guys are gonna lambast my spelling. Oh, come on. Gryffindor. There we go. One of the main writers going on to the second round of pitches is Francesca Gardner. Who? Tell me more about Francesca Gardner. What do I lambast you guys about? Um, why is this? This is so messed up. Oh yeah, yeah, this is ridiculous. I have such issues with this. Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin. Delete. 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 All right, we are sorting characters in their houses. Oh. That's the closest color we had to it. There wasn't a better color than this one. This is the closest Hufflepuff. This actually, now that I look at it, it's kind of like brown. There was a yellow. I didn't notice. I deleted the yellow, didn't I? That's too bright of a yellow. We'll go with that one. I feel like Hufflepuff. Oh, you know what? Hufflepuff deserves to be on top. Maybe I am colorblind. I feel like Hufflepuff is not that orange or not that yellow. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just delusional. All right, we'll go with that. Orange it didn't. Glad he made it pink. Is there a better blue? That's not Ravenclaw blue. That's not Ravenclaw blue, but sure, we'll go with that. Slytherin, is there a deeper green? Nope. Gryffindor is good. Okay. I'm gonna make this into probably a YouTube video as well. Oh, guys, look. West Cam. Real quick. Look at this beautiful angel. Can't see his face. How do I get his face? There. He's the cutest. Okay. I don't want to rank some of these people, to be honest. I would love to be able to delete some of these. Like, what the heck is this? This is Charlie Weasley. Okay. Like, is Dobby here? Like, we have Creature. Like, what kind of tier list is this? This is so random. Like, you have Creature, but you don't have Dobby. Oh, Dobby's here. Is this... Are we missing anybody in this list right here? Just skip the ones I don't want to do. Yeah. Yeah, Squibs. That's a great idea. How do I make another one? Add row below. Oh, not Ravenclaw. Come on. Squibs. You guys are going to be gray. Or I could just call it characters I don't care about. All right, let's oh man, I love Frank and Alice. Ugh. I mean, a legitimate squib, but I still kind of want to rank him. I don't really care about ranking him that much. I almost... Is Vernon in here? Oh, Vernon and Petunia are in here. It'd be kind of fun to rank them. Like the Gray Lady, I don't care that much about ranking the Gray Lady. I know they gotta make some of these images larger. It's hard to see. Like the fact I don't care about ranking the ghosts. These are the house ghosts. Actually, let's just do this. Is this the Bloody Baron? Yes, the Bloody Baron. Where is Sir Nick? Someone tell me where Sir Nicholas is. Peeves. There we go. All right, do we just go ahead and rank all these people? Like, I don't care that much about Peeves. I don't want to rank him. All right, let me scan through this. We'll rank all these people. I don't care about her. She's a pervert. All right. Ranking all these people. Do we want to rank Filch? No, not really. We'll rank all these people. I'm going to rank Creature. I like Creature. I'm essentially just going to put all my favorites in Hufflepuff. I need to think of like justification for why I'm ranking some of these people. I don't care about ranking him. I'll rank Floor. The Patil twins shouldn't be together. That's annoying. Oh, I love her. Flitty. Let's I was gonna say let's put the house like he's a Ravenclaw. But I don't know if we'll do that yet. Yeah, let's do that. Snape. McGee. Where is she? Where's that little minx? She's like such a funny human being. I love her. All right. Who else do we not care about? I want to rank all these people, rank all these people. I don't care about ranking Maxime. Or Pomfrey. I don't care about ranking her. Pomfrey got to be Ravenclaw. Why is Pomfrey a Ravenclaw? Honestly, I kind of something I kind of want to do too is sort them in their Ilvermorny houses. I feel like that'd be kind of fun because there's a house that's specifically for healers. Wow, Miko, you're gonna rile some feathers. I'm gonna put the easier characters to rank first. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna start, guys. I'm gonna ignore you guys for. You guys are gonna be so mad at me after this. I'm gonna ignore you guys for like 20 minutes as I do this. I'm gonna try to come up with like not like a full justification for why I'm ranking that person there. I want to start with the tree. Should I end with the trio? Let's end with the trio. No, should we start with the trio? Yeah, what else is new? I just like doing these videos to rile some feathers. Like, okay, I'm kind of thinking through this now. Like, some of this is going to take some legitimate brain power. Like, this video could be like an hour long. Because there's some slight, I mean, it's like kind of debatable where you would rank him. Like, part of me wants to do this video with you guys and put the chat right here and have a discussion with you guys and make that a video. What do you guys think about that? I'll pop chat out. I'll put it on the side and we'll do this together. Or should I just do this on my own? And you guys just can be furious at me. Actually, yeah, Aberforth is a Hufflepuff. I'm going to do this on my own, but let's go through these characters real quick. Just rank based on hotness. That's actually that would be a hot video. Okay, can you guys help me? Give me basics of what you think some of these characters should be ranked. Like Aberforth, I like he's a Hufflepuff. He seems very devoted. Frank and Alice, I think they're Gryffindors. I'm gonna just run through what I'm gonna do for my list. Frank and Alice, I think, are very clear Gryffindors. But there also is Hufflepuff in them. I think they're Gryffindors, though. I think they're pretty clearly Gryffindors. Yeah, I think so. I think Mr. Weasley, I would probably say is a pretty true Gryffindor as well. He's very brave. For sure could have Hufflepuff blood in him a little bit, but I think he's more Gryffindor than anything else. Barty Crouch Jr. I mean, I'm not just going to rank him. So Junior could be a Hufflepuff too, because he's the most devoted servant. But the carryover between like a dark, loyal character is just a Slytherin. Yeah, Atlanta, we're resorting everyone. But I'm like, we're doing a preliminary walkthrough before I do anything else. Yeah. Crouch Jr. is a Ravenclaw? Interesting. I would not have pictured him as Ravenclaw. I would probably picture, honestly, Senior is kind of a Slytherin. Junior's a Ravenclaw? Okay. I kind of wouldn't mind Junior being Ravenclaw. We can let's spice things up a little bit. I'm gonna put Junior as a Ravenclaw probably. I think I'm gonna put Senior as a Slytherin, if I'm being completely honest. I already had this convo with VK. Interesting. I thought when you said VK, I thought you were talking about Victor Crumb, and I remember someone in our Discord is called VK. He's not a Death Eater fan, yeah. Bella. So I think there's, now that I'm thinking about it, there's like a weird symmetry between some of the dark characters and between Hufflepuff House. But Hufflepuff House, you have to be fundamentally good, I think. And like Bellatrix and Junior are. Is that just like a poor assumption that I'm making about Hufflepuff House? Ireland is sending a Eurovision song that starts with Avada Kedavra and its lyrics. No way. That's so dangerous. I know, I'm kind of making assumptions, but the thing, like the tough thing is the only thing that we have really to go off is the book, and most of the characters in Hufflepuff House are just, they're not like, maybe they're not fundamentally good, but they're plain. And Bellatrix doesn't strike me as a plain person. But because of her loyalty, I'm slightly tempted to put her in Hufflepuff, but I think I have to put her in Slytherin because her ambition probably outweighs her loyalty. Does it? She is loyal to her death. That's going to be a tough one. Well, let's come back to that one. I want to sort her last. Maybe we'll sort her first. Really rile some feathers with that. That's Bill. I think Bill is a Gryffindor. A pretty clear Gryffindor through and through, to be honest. And I'm going to put Fleur as a Hufflepuff. Although she's a Gryffindor as well. And she's a Ravenclaw. And she's a Slytherin. This is going to be tougher than I thought it was going to be completely honest. Okay, Nemo, I kind of am with you on that. Percy, I think maybe should be a Slytherin, but I actually think I'm going to put Ron in Slytherin. I know that's going to be controversial, but to me, I think I'm going to put Ron as a Slytherin because of what he sees in the mirror. I think that's where he belongs. I don't know. Bill is probably a Gryffindor to me. I think Floor. Charlie, I'm going to probably put Gryffindor as well. It takes a lot of bravery to fight dragons. Cho belongs in Hufflepuff. There's not a lot of Ravenclaws right now. Honestly, maybe Crouch Senior is a claw. Yeah, it's mostly of people's actions. That's kind of true. Cho. I just do wanna. I wanna rile a few feathers though with this video. You know. This kid's brave. I think he's a Gryffindor. I think he's a Slytherin. I'd probably say he's a Slytherin. Actually, is Fudge a claw? What house was Fudge actually in? What house was Fudge actually in Gryffindor? Fudge is a claw. It is unknown what house he was sorted into. Is there any headcanon on that? Slytherin. Dean. Dean shows a lot of bravery. Doesn't show a ton of loyalty. Shows a lot of bravery. I think Dean is properly sorted. I think Dean's properly sorted. Dobby, oh, this is a tough one too. He's Gryffindor or Hufflepuff. And it's like, which one outweighs the other? Does his bravery outweigh, or does his courage, or sorry, does his bravery or does his loyalty? His actions are brave because he's loyal. So he's almost... What do you mean he's not loyal? Well, he's loyal to one person. Yeah, it's not actually not a bad idea. He's a Gryffindor. Yeah, but he wasn't very loyal to the Malfoys, so um where does she belong? In the dungeons. I should do another one that's the dungeons. We should just put a few of these people in the dungeons. I think Slytherin. Ambitious. Ambition is probably our crowning achievement. Draco. Draco's a great question. Umbridge is Slytherin. Yeah, agreed. Draco is a more fascinating one. Does Draco actually have ambition? Is Draco really a Hufflepuff? Because he's so loyal to his parents. And he's so loyal to things that he doesn't even really like. Like the family tie that he has there. He doesn't show a ton of Ravenclaw, or wow, Ravenclaw doesn't show a ton of bravery. Maybe a Ravenclaw. I'm actually gonna put him in Ravenclaw. Draco, in my head, is the second best student in school. I think he's a Ravenclaw. Actually, I love that. Draco has Vila ancestry? No way. That's actually crazy. Didykins. If Didykins was a wizard, he's not smart. He's not really loyal. Not really brave. he just goes. He probably goes in Slytherin for his bullying tactics. Didykins is a tough one. Where would Didykins go? Hmm. Dumbledore is another fascinating one. The dungeons. I should just make another category of the dungeons. Can I just delete this one now? Bummer. Yeah, I think Dumbledore's a Slytherin. Although I kind of want to put him in Ravenclaw. The dude knows how to weave a plan together. And I feel like that is a very Ravenclaw quality. I don't think he belongs in Gryffindor. I don't really think he belongs in Hufflepuff. I kind of think he belongs in Ravenclaw. Or Slytherin? Ravenclaw or Slytherin for sure. Fleur. I'm gonna put in Puff. I think Fleur's a Puff. I think Lockhart is probably a Slytherin. I mean, he is kind of properly sorted. I don't know, actually, he's not really properly sorted in Ravenclaw. His desire for power is very Slytherin, agreed, but I almost think that his desire for power comes from him wanting to be the smartest person in the room at all times. And I feel like that's almost a very Hufflepuff quality. You know what I mean? I know, Mika, that's a great point. It's like sorting them based on just one quality. So maybe we should try to figure out how to expand this in some way. Yeah, Dumbledore did have a lot of ambition. I know. I think he is a Slytherin. I think Ginevra is a Gryffindor. Almost for her just sheer popularity. 1 second. Someone just texted me saying I need to email them something. Whoops. Hold on, everyone. Sorry. I gotta send someone a file. Real fun stuff. I don't even know where this file is. There we go. All right, we're in. We hacked the system. All right, sent and done. Okay, sorry. Put in betweens. In betweens for what? The British ministry fired him from the spot in order. Wait, who are you talking about here? Yeah, put in betweens. That'd be a huge tier list. This is going to be significantly more difficult than I thought. I think this is what we have to do with this video, guys. I think we have to find a smaller character list and focus on just the major characters for a quick second. You know what I mean? Because otherwise this video is going to be like 3 hours long of me explaining everything. And I want to go into a little bit of explanation for like some of the characters, and I don't want to do that for every single character. A multi-circle Venn diagram. Honestly, you kind of nailed it. I feel like this is the list for us, guys. Are we missing any main characters that we want to resort? Honestly, I kind of want to do all the Weasleys. This is going to be tough. I know, that list is a little random. Like, why did Lucius Malfoy just weasel his way in? Let's add some characters. Guys, okay, let's just add a few characters to this one. Maybe we should just make our own, you know? I don't really care about Lockhart. I don't know why Lockhart is in this list. This is so random. Like, I like everyone else except for Lucius and Lockhart. The L's. Luscious Lockharts. I don't know. That is a random character list. Harry Potter characters, Harry Potter characters, Harry Potter characters. There's a lot of character lists. All Harry Potter characters. Yeah, right. We could sort Hedwig. Is not resort and move on. No way. We got to resort. I just think it's a fascinating idea. It would take a lot of discussion though. Oh, wow, it's a lot of characters. All right, I'm gonna do this list, and this is so random. I'm just gonna stick on this one. We're just gonna restart and we're gonna go quick. But then this, I'm so, you guys are watching my whole mind go crazy. This one, yeah, I want a shorter list. We're gonna go a shorter list, and I'm just gonna nix these two. Okay. Gryffindor. Spelled it wrong. Gryffindor. Hufflepuff. Slytherin. Canon is Lockhart. Like, I almost want Lupin in here. Let's just delete this one. All right, here's my rough ranking of what I'm going to do, guys. McGonagall belongs in Gryffindor. I think she's a very brave person. I think he gets resorted and put into Slytherin. I think Neville is almost as true. Yeah, I'm the most indecisive person. I'm just like trying to figure out what a good video would be, and I feel like we would lose people if we sorted all these people. Actually, would we lose people if we sorted all these people? We'd really get the Harry Potter nerds. But I want to like come up with an explanation for why each person should be resorted. We'll do this video in parts. Hagrid, I think, is a Hufflepuff. Shows unbelievable loyalty. I don't Neville in Hufflepuff, really? I think Neville is very much a Gryffindor. Comes into his bravery. The reason why I think Neville is such a Gryffindor is for the line in Game of Thrones. He is the scaredest kid in the entire series. He constantly has moments where he shows bravery. It's like the only time you can show bravery, right? Sirius. I think Sirius is... He's not a very good student. I kind of want Lupin in this list. I wish you could delete people. Like, let me see if I can actually just do them all on my own list, you know? Make template. Resorting. I must be logged in to use this feature. Come on, I don't want to log in. Sirius being a true Gryffindor? Yeah, I think Sirius is like a very, very true Gryffindor. I think that is I think that's a very, very... He runs into battles without even thinking. I think Harry is a very true Gryffindor as well. I know that's boring. Harry could be anything except a Ravenclaw. Sirius as much as Leroy Jenkins as Harry. Yeah, I think Harry really is a perfect Gryffindor. Ron is a challenge. I kind of think I'm gonna put Ron in. I want to put Ron in Slytherin, but I like the point where it's not really your desires. So the only issue is, does Ron truly show loyalty? Is loyalty something that he has to his core? I would argue no. I would actually argue he's loyal to some extent, but I think Hermione is a heck of a lot more loyal. He always comes back. Ron doesn't fit in Slytherin, Hufflepuff, or Ravenclaw. That's why he's a Gryffindor. Honestly, that's kind of... Yeah, Ron gets jealous easily. I'm Nemo. I'm actually gonna probably say that. Again, Ron does everything based on his stomach. Yeah, it's next to the kitchens. That's why. Chewy, I love that. That's why he's gonna be sorted into Hufflepuff. I love that. For one reason and one reason alone. Because it's closest to the kitchens. Hermione is, in my headcanon, Hermione is like what is it? Sepharina Pickery. I think Hermione is all four of the houses, and I think she can choose which one she wants, which is why she chose Gryffindor. But if the Sorting Hat didn't take her choice into effect. I think the Sorting Hat could have sorted her in any one of them. But I think Hermione is the most loyal character in the entire series. But I kind of think she's a I don't know. I kind of think she's a Ravenclaw, but maybe that's too basic. Oh man. She said the hat almost put her in Ravenclaw for sure. But is she really a Ravenclaw? Like Ravenclaw is honestly out of all the houses, I feel like Ravenclaw is the one that she shouldn't be in. I feel like she has ambition, and Slytherin fits her really well. The same thing. I think she's one of the most loyal characters in the series. I think she fits in Hufflepuff really well. And then above all, I do think that she is overwhelmingly brave. Her thirst for knowledge is unparalleled, so I think she's a Ravenclaw. We'll put her in Ravenclaw. Hermione would have been great in Slytherin. I know. Voldy. This is like the antithesis of Voldy. He shouldn't be in Hufflepuff. Is Voldy kind of a Ravenclaw? I mean, like Voldemort is maybe one of the most properly sorted people in Hogwarts. He really is a Slytherin. I wonder if they would do this if at like their graduation ceremony, they actually put on the hat again and they get resorted. And the hat tells them which house that he thinks they should be in at that moment. That'd actually be kind of interesting. Um Voldemort I think is a true Slytherin. Dumbledore is a claw. Dumbledore's a claw. June, you just want Dumbledore in your house. Come on. Yeah, for sure. I think my 11-year-old self is very different from my 32-year-old self. Luna. I think Luna's I think Luna's a Gryffindor. She's very ethereal, which makes her fit into Ravenclaw. But I think she's one of the more brave people in the entire series. She's loyal to her friends, but she's somewhat aloof of her friends. The reason why I think she's a true Gryffindor is because she has been ridiculed pretty much her whole life for being strange, and she is still strange, and she is unabashedly strange. She is unapologetically herself. And that takes a significant amount of courage. So I think she's going in Gryffindor for me. Yeah, being strange is kind of a Ravenclaw trait. I'm kind of with you on that. Maybe she is properly sorted. Hmm. Um, Draco. My headcanon is Sorting Hat reads your mind and sees that you belong to Ravenclaw. Chooses the opposite. It just is the Sorting Hat did 1 year where he just ran psychological experiments and he just tested. Yeah, it's actually kind of fascinating. It's a fascinating discussion. Like, what would happen if he was resorted? Draco, I'm gonna put in Hufflepuff. No, no, Draco's in Ravenclaw. Draco's in Ravenclaw for me. Dobby is in Gryffindor. And I don't really care about Lucius. I don't know why Lucius is on this list. I'm gonna like throw Lucius in the middle as like boring content. Lucius. Lucius is a Slytherin. Nemo, I'm actually gonna put Luna in Ravenclaw, I think. Yeah, that's actually a great point. She's just herself without caring, so it's not really bravery. She just doesn't care. That's a fantastic point. I do think she is extremely brave, though. Actually, I don't know. Is she brave? Now that I'm thinking about it, she's just like almost aloof. But she just does things because, like, maybe she has more Hufflepuff in her. I think I gotta put her in Ravenclaw, though. All right, I'm gonna sort the people who are maybe the easier ones. Who's the fun one? We'll sort Ron at the end. I like Ron at the end. All right, so Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin, Gryffindor. I'm not really resorting a lot of people now that I think about it. This is just where their houses are. Hufflepuff. I don't know. He's a true Gryffindor. Gryffindor. All of them, but probably Ravenclaw. Ravenclaw. Hufflepuff. And Ravenclaw. I don't know, man. This is just my headcanon because I think we were talking about this somewhere before, but I think Draco is a brilliant student. I don't know why I have that headcanon so firmly in my head, but I feel like he's the second smartest student at Hogwarts, other than Hermione, and that's why he gets so much flack for it. I think he's a smart kid. I think he thinks outside the box as well, which is a very Ravenclaw quality to have. I don't know. Is it? I think it's maybe it's a little bit from that, but my own headcanon is just based on his parents. His parents value knowledge, and he's just very. Maybe he is just very. He is very loyal to his parents. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if bravery is as overwhelming. I don't see. He is a little bit brave. He is kind of isolated for some things. All right, everyone. I'm gonna shut you guys out and tear it up. All right, everyone. Here we go. I'm gonna start this. It's gonna be another video we do on YouTube. I gotta come up with like other stuff other than just tier lists. It takes bravery for naming his son Scorpius. It's true. It is very true. I gotta write like a script. I gotta start writing scripts for these things. It's hard to just think on the fly. We're gonna do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a resorting of Harry Potter characters. Today, I am going to resort some of the major characters in the Harry Potter saga. Some of them are going to stay in the same houses that they're in, but I think some of them are actually missorted, and I think they need to be sorted in different houses. We're going to start with some really easy ones first. I think McGonagall is just a Gryffindor. She shows a lot of bravery in everything that she does. I think she is a very true Gryffindor, especially when Umbridge is at the school. And especially when the Carrows are at the school in the final book, she shows bravery in standing and staying at the school, which is a Hufflepuff character as well. But she shows a lot of bravery there, staying and taking care of the students, even at her own detriment. I think she's a very true Gryffindor. I think Lockhart is actually a very true Slytherin. I think he's kind of an idiot as the books lead on, but I think he has ambition, but he doesn't have the skill, which wouldn't necessarily put him in Slytherin. He was a Ravenclaw, so I don't know. He's smart in that he, found a scam to scam the wizarding world with, but I think he's a Slytherin for his ambition. I think Luna is actually very properly sorted, although I think Luna could belong in Gryffindor. I think she could belong in Hufflepuff as well, because I think she's very loyal to her friends, but I think she is a properly sorted character. I think Lord Voldemort is maybe one of the most easily sorted characters in all of Harry Potter. I think he is a Slytherin to the core. Our very own Hagrid, I think this is a very easy one. I think he is very clearly a Hufflepuff for the sheer loyalty and love that he shows Harry. He is really Harry's truest father figure. He shows him immense loyalty. He shows Dumbledore immense loyalty. He shows the School of Hogwarts immense loyalty. I think Hagrid is a very, very true Hufflepuff. I think reckless Sirius Black is a true Gryffindor. I think he was sorted properly. I think he runs into situations without thinking. I think he has a lot of bravery, but a lot of gall to do some of the things that he does. I think he is a very, very true Gryffindor. Lucius, I don't care that much about, but I think he was properly sorted. I think he is a Slytherin, although part of me does want to put him in a Hufflepuff or even Ravenclaw. I think he has smarts, but I think he is also very loyal to his family. But at the end of the day, I think Slytherin wins out for his ambition, his family's ambition. I think he does kind of belong in Slytherin. I think Harry, even though we can put him in Slytherin because of ambition, even though I think he's loyal to certain people, even though he's very, very smart, I don't think actually Ravenclaw fits him at all. I think Ravenclaw is his most unfitted house. I think he actually is a very properly sorted person as well. I think Harry does belong in Gryffindor. He is maybe the most brave character in all of the books. I think he runs into situations without thinking, which is a very brave thing to do. Maybe very foolish, but I think Harry is a very, very true Gryffindor. Now, our very own Neville, who's maybe one of my favorite characters in the whole series, I think is an almost truer Gryffindor than Harry for one specific reason, is that this kid is terrified of everything that jumps out at him. And in spite of being terrified, Neville still chooses to remain at the school. He still chooses to defy certain people that he needs to defy. He still chooses bravery in the midst of everything else. I think he is a very, very, very clear Gryffindor. And I think Dobby is also, I'm putting a lot of people in Gryffindor. Hufflepuff is my house, so I'm not putting a ton of people in Hufflepuff, which is sad. But I think Dobby could go in Hufflepuff. I think he is unbelievably loyal. But the only reason why he's in Gryffindor is because he wasn't loyal to the Malfoy family. And I think he showed an immense amount of bravery in saving Harry in Malfoy Manor. I think he shows an immense amount of bravery and courage in a lot of different things that he does. So I think Dobby belongs in Gryffindor. Now, Hermione, there is a legend at Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, which is a far superior school to Hogwarts. There is a legend of someone named Sephirina Pickery, and she was the MACUSA president at some time during Grindelwald's reign, and she got the rare honor, which is awarded maybe once a century, that all of the totems asked or like raised their objects, or they chose her to be in the house. And I think the same is actually true of Hermione Jean Granger. I think the Sorting Hat could have sorted her into any one of the houses. And I think the Sorting Hat actually gave her the choice. And I think because she heard about Gryffindor, everything about Gryffindor, she wanted to go into Gryffindor. But in Order of the Phoenix, she does talk about her being a Ravenclaw. And I think she actually fits into Ravenclaw pretty darn well. This is tough too, because I think she's one of the more ambitious people in the books. And I think she is actually maybe the most loyal person to Harry in the entire series. But I think her thirst for knowledge wins out. And I think she is a Ravenclaw. I think Albus Dumbledore is not properly sorted in Gryffindor. I think Albus Dumbledore, even though he is wildly ambitious, I think his smarts and his desire for controlling the situation with his mind trumps his ambition, and I think he belongs in Ravenclaw. These last two characters were actually very, very difficult to sort, and I'm going to start with Lucius. I'm going to start with Draco. I think Draco, even though he was sorted in Slytherin, even though I think he's very loyal to his family, even though he shows maybe ounces of bravery, to me, it's between Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. And here's both of my headcanons. I think that he is very, very smart. In my head, I think Draco is the second smartest student in his year, other than Hermione. And also in my head, I think he is unbelievably loyal, because even though he doesn't really, believe in a lot of the things that he's doing, he still stays loyal to his family. He still stays loyal to the dark side. He still stays loyal to Lord Voldemort, even though he doesn't really believe in the cause all that much, in my belief. So it's between these two, and because I'm a Hufflepuff, I'm going to put him in my own house. So I think he actually belongs in Hufflepuff house. And then the final one is our very own Ronald Weasley. I think Ron, for the simplest reason, isn't a Gryffindor. I think he's a Hufflepuff for the one simple reason that it's closest to the kitchens. That's the only reason. I think he is loyal, but I don't think he's incredibly loyal because he abandons people because he's hungry. Just because Hufflepuff house is close to the kitchens, Ron belongs in Hufflepuff house. So that is my tier list. That's all I got for you on my tier list today. We're probably going to rank some more characters and resort some more characters. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. Like the video. If you think this is outrageous and you think any of my characters need to be sorted in different houses, let me know. And have a great day. Man, I was getting a call in the middle of that too. Gosh, my phone was going nuts. Wow, it is so difficult to do that. Okay, what are you guys all saying? So sad, Slytherins are the best and the hottest and the smartest. Ryan, what's up? Ryan, don't speak French when you're in here. Come on. We're hot and humble. Chewy, I love your comment on that. That was so funny. Malfur. Malloy. Malfur. Spell check. All right. I want to watch this one. I've been dying to watch this video, and I want to talk about this one. I haven't seen any of this, so I'm excited to talk about all these different theories. Topics that divide fans. All right, so let's get into some heated debate.
Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we'll be discussing the top 10 most controversial opinions about the Harry Potter series. These, of course, are opinions
in which just a name. Link me in that video if you can. Throw it in the Discord.
The novels, throughout the making of the films, and now more than 10 years later. And since I love a good debate, let's get to it. 10. Barty Crouch Jr. was Hogwarts' best Dada teacher. For those of you who may need a little reminder, Barty Crouch Jr. was the son of British Ministry of Magic official Barty Crouch Sr. He was also a loyal Death Eater who was accused of torturing Alice and Frank Longbottom to the point of insanity, using the Cruciatus Curse. After escaping the wizarding prison of Azkaban and being held captive by his father for the better part of a decade, Barty Jr. was, well, rather insane. And yet he somehow managed to believably impersonate one of the most skilled aurors of the day, Alistair Mad-Eye Moody, in the role of Hogwarts Defense Against the Dark Arts professor. And not only did Barty Jr. succeed in his impersonation of Mad-Eye,
He's not
he
better
was
than
also actually
Lupin.
really good at teaching. So much so that some fans argue that Barty Crouch Jr., as Mad-Eye Moody, was actually the best Defense Against the Dark Arts professor that Harry and his classmates ever had. He went above and beyond in the things he taught the class, and consistently seemed to go out of his way to mentor and teach Harry skills, such as helping him practice overcoming the Imperius Curse, a skill that Harry later uses in the face of Voldemort's attempt to make him bow. Of course, this opinion is quite controversial, considering Barty Jr. was not only insane, but a literal murderer. And those who oppose this opinion offer the idea that perhaps Barty Crouch Jr. was just a rather skilled wizard, which doesn't necessarily translate to his ability as a professor. He also performed the 3 unforgivable curses in his classroom, which was not only illegal, but an endangerment to his entire class. 9.
Okay, let's stop on that one for a second. If we're talking, the debate is between 3 people. Your Aussie brain can't understand. We're talking about the debate between Lupin, Snape, and Barty Crouch Jr. I don't think Snape really is in the running, but he's the only other able teacher that they've had, to be honest. Quirrell was the GOAT. No one knows what Quirrell was doing, to be completely honest. Honestly, Quirrell could have been a good teacher if we had him later on. But the debates between Lupin and Barty Crouch Jr. I don't think Barty Crouch Jr. is a better teacher than Lupin is. I think Lupin is far superior, the better teacher than Barty Crouch. What did I say? Lupin is a better teacher than Barty Crouch. I think that's to me really, really clear. Because he doesn't endanger his students. He gives them a safe environment to learn these things in. For Barty Crouch Jr., it doesn't seem like he cares about that at all, which maybe is a good teacher in honestly that's like a good teacher in like higher levels. Like you kind of throw your chicks out of the nest. But I definitely think Lupin is a better teacher than Barty Crouch Jr. Lupin, BJQ, or BCG. Wow, BJQ. And Quirrell. Snape? Miko, you think Snape? Wow. I think Snape is not a great teacher. I think he's a great research teacher. Depends on what kind of teacher we're talking about. I think he's a good research professor. I don't think he's a good theoretical or lecture professor or like passing skills on to other witches and wizards. Why is this video only 720p? All right, that's my theory on that.
9. Draco Malfoy didn't deserve his redemption arc. Particularly in the movies, Draco Malfoy is given a story arc that attempts to redeem his inexcusable behavior earlier in the series. While some fans believe this arc is completely justified, Draco was just a boy who'd been raised in a prejudiced family and was under the tutelage of Severus Snape, who was rather spiteful himself, bullying students and all that. The other side of this argument claims that Malfoy is simply an arrogant git, one who would have murdered Albus Dumbledore had Snape not stepped in. The contention in this opinion stems from whether you believe that Malfoy was truly an evil wizard who did nasty and unkind things to others for
This is an interesting
or
one.
a misguided young man who eventually tried to do what was right.
I like this. Harry Potter was kind of a weenie. Okay. Yeah, Draco doesn't have a redemption arc, which is a weird thing that they actually made this a point. I don't think that if he had a redemption arc, it would have been unjustifiable. I think he was actually one of the characters. He reminds me a little bit of Zuko in Avatar: Last Airbender. Not significantly, but a little bit of Zuko. I think you see a little bit of that wrestling, and I think Zuko is such a fascinating character because he is really struggling with like which side he wants to be on. And I think Draco could have had a redemption arc that would have been really justifiable. I don't think he would have That's a fascinating question. Would Draco have killed Dumbledore atop the tower had Snape not stepped in? I think that's actually the more interesting question. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think a full redemption arc would have been rushed. I'm actually with you on that. But I don't think it would have been unjustifiable. I think they could have thrown it in there. I don't think it would have been that great. Some people just yeah, for sure. I think his arc was actually perfect. I think his arc was like, he does exactly what his character really should have done. It would have been interesting to have him have a redemption arc. I actually would have really liked that because I kind of like Draco as a character. But would he have killed Dumbledore atop the tower? That's a fascinating question to me. I don't think that he would have. I think Dumbledore was actually very close to convincing him to not do it. And had the Death Eaters not shown up, I think Dumbledore would have convinced him of it. That would be a fascinating rewrite. Has anybody rewritten the series in a fan fiction of that? Where the Death Eaters don't come and Dumbledore convinces Draco to not do it. And so Dumbledore puts the Malfoy family into hiding. Dang, that would actually be a fascinating one. Maybe we'll make a video about that. All right, next.
8. Harry Potter was kind of a weenie. Harry Potter, the boy who
Yes.
lived, the chosen one, he was an incredibly brave young boy who embraced the fact that his world got turned upside down at the mere age of 11. But was he also kind of a selfish...
It's a fanfic that Draco gives into
fans'
Dumbledore.
opinions,
I
he
kind of
most
like that.
certainly was. These fans need only to point to one of several scenes in existence in which Harry is wallowing in his
It's a
own
good one.
misery and pushes those closest to him away. Yes, he was under extreme amounts of
That
pressure.
doesn't mean he's a
but he also
weenie.
never
That
really
just
seemed
means
to
he's a
check in on how his
teenager.
friends are doing with all the chaos that surrounds them each and every year at Hogwarts. 7. Harry and Hermione should have been a...
Ooh, that's gonna be a heated one. Yeah, I think Harry's a weenie because he's a teenager. Yeah, he's a weenager. He is completely a weenager. I think this is the one thing I'm learning so much from this podcast is that we're judging him based on old people standards of like what maturity should look like when he is a teenager. He should be going through those moods. She wrote a convincing character. Yeah, he was 14 years old. Agreed. What 14-year-old hasn't, done stupid things like this or like been moody? I think yes, he's a weenie. You know what has been really interesting actually for me to see is Jen's progression of liking or disliking Harry. It's one of the truest gauges to me of how Joe wrote this character. Because if you think about it, in the beginning, Jen loved Harry. It's like making me read it for the first time again. Jen loved Harry. And then she started to slowly dislike him and was kind of annoyed by him at certain parts. And I think she's starting to like him again. And I'm really curious when we get to the next chapter, what she's going to think of Harry. Because I think Harry becomes a man in the next 2 chapters, essentially. I love Harry in the next 2 chapters. Someone even commented they were bummed that we didn't talk about in the podcast Ron's maturity. And I think that's a great point. We'll probably talk about that next one. Yeah, Harry becomes a man in the next chapter.
Doing with all the chaos that surrounds them each and every year at Hogwarts. 7. Harry and Hermione should have been a couple. For years and years, fans have fought over whether Hermione and Ron belong together, or if Miss Know-It-All Granger should have ended up with Harry. Especially in films, Hermione and Harry do seem better matched. If you're a book fan, however, you know that the movies do a poor job of representing Ron as a well-rounded character in comparison with the novels.
Although Rupert
Even
Grint
so,
is the
there are
best
still
actor.
a large number of fans who ship Harry and Hermione. In any case, it all comes down to one question, really. How does that tent dance scene between Harry and Hermione in Deathly Hallows Part 1 make you feel? Queasy and awkward, or super pumped? Based on your answer, you know which side of this controversial opinion you're on.
That's kind of true. Yeah, I think Hermione and Ron are the better couple. I think Harry and Hermione would actually do okay. I don't think they would like be at each other's necks or anything like that. But Harry and Ron are, I don't know, they're just it. There's just something about like a male and a female being friends and just being friends and everyone not shipping them that I just like kind of love. So I just love that Hermione and Harry are like best friends and they don't even think about romance at all. I really love that. Yeah, Avery, I'm completely with you. Yeah, I'm disagreeing with all these too. Have you read there? Are they really snooze fest? Honestly, I feel like there's not a ton of people who can write those well. To be honest, it's not friendship; it's a family. Exactly. Yeah, Avery, I'm completely there with you. I love the idea that there's a platonic relationship between the two of them, and they don't really think about romance all that much. There's actually almost in the books. Is there any hint of romance between Hermione and Harry? I don't think there is. Like there's cuteness between them. There's like deep friendship between the two, especially when they were there was the one uh was this a scene in the books too? Because I'm thinking of the movies when Harry or when they're going to the slug club and Harry's like, I just figured we'd like ask each other. And Hermione's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Was that books too? Yeah, he even tells Ron he views her as a sister. Like I love that they go to like the slug club together and they're just like going as friends because they just really like each other. And they just don't see anything romantic between the two of them. I love that so much. That was just a movie. It was a decent movie transition then. I kind of like that.
6.
All right,
Sirius
6.
Black was a poor godfather to Harry. To many fans of
Yeah,
the series, Sirius Black was the type
kind
of
of agree
loving
with this one.
family Harry never had growing up, a stark contrast to the neglectful Dursleys. But was he really all that great at being Harry's godfather? This opinion has fans quite divided, as there are those who are fierce supporters of Sirius and his positive impact on Harry's life. On the opposite side of this coin, however, we have fans who bring up some valid points. For starters, Sirius never made contact with Harry before breaking into Hogwarts as a fugitive from Azkaban. You'd think he'd want to try and warn his former best friend's son about the dangers of Peter Pettigrew parading around as a rat in his very dormitory, or perhaps attempt to let him know he wasn't a mass murderer coming for him. And after they finally connect, he really wasn't around all that much for Harry. Obviously, he had to keep hidden due to his fugitive status, but you'd think he would have been a touch more present. You know, other than the odd conversation through a magical fireplace. 5. Neville Longbottom.
Oh my gosh, that one's gonna be so fun. Yeah, Miko, I am completely with you. I think he just wanted James back. I actually think that this theory is right. I think he wasn't the best godfather to Harry. But here's my explanation for why I don't think he was. I think what he experienced was really traumatic, and um, being sent to prison after something like that's happened and having to fixate on that. I think psychologically, I would be really interested to hear what a psychologist's perspective on Sirius would be, and the trauma that he endured, and how he was essentially would be stuck in the current age that he's in, and what would come out of that a little bit. Like, would he deal with any kind of like multiple personality disorder of like him struggling to adapt and maintain maturity when he's out? I think he's actually a really well written character because he is still a teenager. It's like those 13 years that he was in Azkaban are kind of like erased. And when Harry comes back, he thinks that he's Sirius and James just hanging out. That's a great question, Ryan. Like, would Sirius have been a good godfather had he not gone to Azkaban? I think he would have. I think he would have matured in different ways. Now, that question is like part and parcel with if Harry's parents never died. If he just grew up being a godfather, I think Sirius would have matured properly and been a good godfather. He would have always been a little reckless, but that's like a cute, like, uncle who's like reckless and having fun with your kids, Yeah, I think he would have. And I think Azkaban was a stunt in his growth, to be completely honest. All right. Next one.
present. You know, other than the odd
This
conversation
one.
through
This
a
next
magical
one's gonna be a
fireplace.
fun one.
5. Neville Longbottom should have been the chosen one. This well-known opinion is rather more of a theory than some of the others on this list. There are many fans who believe that Neville Longbottom was in fact the real chosen one that Professor Sybil Trelawney spoke of in her prophecy. And even if he
I don't think
wasn't,
it mattered.
maybe he should have been. I mean, Neville really came into his own in the end, so is it not crazy to think that he could have made a more heroic version of the boy who lived? In my opinion, he certainly would have been a less whiny version. 4. Dumbledore should have killed Tom Riddle as a child. The controversy over this particular opinion stems from the fact that Dumbledore would have had to kill a child. However, fans argue that if Dumbledore suspected just how evil Tom Riddle was, and how much terror he would bring to the world as Voldemort, shouldn't he have eliminated him?
Sorry. Guys, this is hilarious to me. I gotta read this. Lizzie's texting me right now. So if anybody for anybody who's a member and watched the stream that I did with Lizzie last night, this is so funny. I am dying. Did anybody watch the stream we did with Lizzie last night? So something that happened really funny in the stream where she's on the second task in the books. And so she was trying to figure out what the tasks were. And when we got to the first task, she was like, I could have sworn that was a maze. She's like, I swear I thought this task was a maze. And then I started gaslighting her. I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I think you were thinking of something else. And then she was like, oh, I think I was thinking of she was thinking of like some other book or like Minecraft or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's going to be, but that'd be crazy. I was like, maybe you should like, grow a huge hedge maze and you have to chase a dragon throughout this hedge maze. So I was literally like, or she was like, she said, it's definitely not Harry Potter. It's How to Train Your Dragon, because there was a maze in How to Train Your Dragon. So she just texts me now and she goes, she just texts me a bunch of other like some says like real, and she says in all caps, it is a freaking maze. You gaslit me so hard. I'm screaming. I was right. This is cracking me up. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Lizzie. I gaslit you. Oh, that's so funny. All right. Now, the real question. The godfather of gaslighting. I love trying to sneak fun things in there. I don't think so. This theory is interesting in a little way for me that Neville Longbottom, I don't think it matters. The Gasfather. I don't think that it matters. I don't think the prophecy really had. That's actually an interesting question. Did the prophecy have when Trelawney gave the prophecy, did she have one of the two in mind? I mean, she's a seer, so she's seeing what's going to happen in the future. Nice, Chewy. Sounds great. I'm pumped for that. Yeah, everyone, I'm jumping off stream a little bit early because I'm gonna me and Chewy are talking over doing a little tamale talk, so I'm pumped for that. All right, as soon as you're done with that, Chewy, just let me know, and then we'll start. This is an interesting one. Yeah, Voldemort made the decision. Yeah. 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 I mean, there's probably all sorts of fanfics about what if Voldemort picked Neville. That one's just more theoretical than anything else. I don't even think there's that much to discuss about that one. Or there is, but
Albus Dumbledore was more evil than good.
Oh.
It's no secret that Albus Dumbledore spent his youth feeling rather self-important, something he made clear in his declaration to Harry. I was gifted. I was brilliant. I wanted to escape. I wanted to shine. I wanted glory. I was left with the responsibility of a damaged sister and wayward brother. I returned to my village in anger and bitterness. Trapped and wasted, I thought. As a young man with his prideful spirit, Albus also developed a close relationship with Gellert Grindelwald, who went on to become one of the darkest wizards to have ever lived. Alongside Grindelwald, Dumbledore plotted how the two could unite the three Deathly Hallows and subjugate Muggles. This alliance inevitably led to an argument between the two and Albus's brother, Aberforth, which resulted in the death of his ailing sister, Ariana. Then there's the fact that he went on to mentor Harry Potter as a child, knowing the whole time that the boy would need to sacrifice himself and die at the hands of Voldemort in order to overcome and defeat him. The argument against all that, of course, is all the good that he did after his choices as a young man, and the fact that he was simply trying to protect the entire wizarding world from Voldemort, exchanging the life of Harry in order to save many. 2. Severus Snape was a hero.
Ooh, Nemo's not gonna like that one. I kind of agree with the Dumbledore one, actually. I kind of think that this is a good take. Lizzie's actually convincing me of this one. That Dumbledore definitely thinks he's above the law on certain things. And he thinks he's smarter than everyone else, so what he does is justified. But the Snape line of "you led him like a pig to slaughter" is just a fascinating one. It's kind of he's very seductive too, yeah. If Neville was the chosen one, he would have crushed Voldemort as a baby. He would have just been like, destroyed him right then and there.
Exchanging the life of Harry in order to save many.
Ooh, now this one.
2. Severus Snape was a hero. One of the most divisive opinions of the franchise is whether or not Severus Snape was a good person, a hero, for everything he did to help Dumbledore, the Order of the Phoenix, and Harry himself. Despite his actions that helped take down Voldemort,
Yeah, I'm
however,
kind of with you, Avery.
there's
I've kind of
the
always
other
had
side to this
a
argument
soft spot
that he
for him.
only did so for his own selfish reasons. That his love for Lily Evans was not enough to redeem his qualities as a bully and an incredibly spiteful and rather cruel.
Let the debate ensue. What do you guys think about this one? Nemo and June are definitely going to be on the same page. He's a bully. I don't think it justifies it. He did like one good thing. This is gonna be a long discussion when we get here in the books. I think Jen's gonna love it. A twinkle in his eye and goblet foreshadows it all. Yeah. Dumbledore planned for Harry to survive. Well, the twinkle that happens in the Goblet. So in the beginning, Dumbledore's original motives were knowing that Harry was going to die, but not thinking that he could come back from that. So when it happens in Goblet, then he's pumped. That's when the twinkle in his eye happens. So maybe he knew about that beforehand and was hoping that would happen, but I think he was kind of like leaving it up to chance. Dumbledore's original plan was for Harry to survive, but he didn't know how. Interesting. Just because you would do one good thing doesn't absolve you of all your sins. Yeah, I don't know if he should be working with students, to be completely honest. But this is all Dumbledore's master plan. This is more Dumbledore's fault than anything else. I'm just kidding. It's partially. What's the last one?
1. The movies were better than the books.
There
are fans who will only
absurd.
ever read the books, ones who will read the books and watch the movies, and those who will only see the films. No matter which group you ask, however, people will always have a fairly strong opinion on which of these series is better. And like with many film adaptations, the majority of fans seem to say that the books are better. They included more details, more backstories, and plotlines.
This is
but
the
then
dumbest.
There are the fans who are adamant that the movies were actually the better of the two. And with that, we've come to the end of another video.
Is there anybody on this planet who, after reading the books, thinks the movies are better than the books? I'd actually be so fascinated to see if there's anybody on the planet who thinks that. Yeah, tell me you don't read without telling me you don't read. Nemo, I think you are just a Snape hater. I think is you saying Snape wasn't good at anything is a severe over exaggeration. Yeah, which fans? It's people who have only seen the movies. Some people deem aspects of the book problematic that were cut in the movies. What do you think would change in the mainstream opinion if it was all the same? That's a fascinating question. Okay, you're not talking about magic. He's a very skilled magician. Very skilled magician. Ah, Jables, that crushes me. That uncle crushes me. Um, I don't think there's a person on this earth who, after reading the uh, the books and seeing the movies, would think that the movies are better, right? Sorry, one second. Um, Miko, that's kind of where I'm thinking as well. The idea of war heroes, he's not a good person. I don't think anybody really debates that. He's not a good person. But was he good at what he did? Yes. He did what was necessary. And he hated this person. He's petty. He's a child too. He acts like a child. He hasn't matured up either. Mm, interesting. Sorry, Wes is scratching a carpet in there. Miko. If Snape was American, he'd have all the medals. Harry names his child after Snape. What greater medal is that? Nemo, again, I think you are being too harsh. Again, I'm not. I am not saying that Snape is a good person. I think that's very clear that he's not a good person. But why do we put Sirius and Snape on different pedestals? I mean, Sirius doesn't really abuse children, so there's that. Yeah, I think Nemo hates Snape the most. Nemo, then June, then Lana, and then Avery. And I kind of hate him too, but I'm just trying to get him a few steps ahead on people not hating him. I think there's something in trauma. Yeah, Sirius doesn't abuse children. Agreed. Okay, I'm glad that you don't say Sirius is good either. Um, so there's something I think within like trauma that when you experience those traumatic moments, it doesn't obviously justify that you just resort back to your childlikeness and you're still like, not being mature. It's no excuse really, but it gives you understanding as to what they why they are the way that they are. That's why you think James is the way that he is. I think that's even why you think Dumbledore is kind of the way that he is. With Snape, Umbridge is just something else, to be completely honest. Like Snape as a character, not as a person. Yeah, Jables, I'm with you. That's why it's so weird when I say like I like Snape, because I actually think he's one of the more compelling characters in literature. Like again, some people think that's like maybe a little wild to say because they're like, oh, Joe's not like, that fascinating of a character writer. I think Snape is um someone on Reddit claimed that Rita was more evil than Umbridge. That's a hot take. That is an extremely hot take. Um I actually kind of like Rita. I think she's kind of evil, but I kind of like her. Some people think it's crazy when I say that I think Snape is one of the most complex characters in literature, and that like Jo, people say she's not like a good like character writer, but I think she's a great character writer. I think Snape is one of the most interesting characters in literature because he's so heavily debated. Name a more interesting character. Name a more interesting character. Being completely honest, in all of literature, guys, maybe this is an over exaggeration. This is definitely an over exaggeration because there are characters that are written that are fantastic, but he is such a fascinating character. Yeah, agreed. Character writing, Heisenberg. Who's that? Yeah, such a good point. Breaking Bad. Interesting. We got to start watching that. We got to start watching Dark. Got to start watching that. Breaking Bad. Got a lot of stuff to watch. I was also talking with Lizzie off stream, and she was like, "We should do first time listeners, do music." Haven't seen Breaking Bad. I know it's crazy. Dark tomorrow. I don't think I could do Dark tomorrow. Dark is gonna have to fit into random spots when I can actually watch it. So I want to be able to watch it diligently, and I'm not able to at the moment. Too much random stuff is going on. Michael Scott is way more complex than Snape. Yeah, Breaking Bad is a good character written series. Apparently, I'd be interested to go into that one. But dang, I think Snape is just a fascinating character. Love him or hate him, you cannot deny Snape's got style. And as a person, I think he is confused. Where do you sit on these controversial topics?
You sit on these controversial topics at the end of another video. Where do you sit on these
Where
controversial
do you sit on these controversial topics? Emma Woodhouse from Emma. Outstanding character. Yeah, legit. Avatar Last Airbender has really good writing because you're rooting for Zuko. Man, I was pulling for Zuko so hard. I hated Aang. I could not stand Aang. He was such a boring character to me. It's because it was written as a kid's show, and he's just supposed to be an entertaining character, to be completely honest. That dude had no arc. But freaking dude, Zuko was written for the adults. You're rooting for him the whole time. Holy smokes, did Zuko have a great character arc? Oh my gosh. Azula. Shoo. Arch. Character Arch. Yes, just a name. Agreed. Now, I'm not saying that that's why you should abuse children. I think Snape has some other issues. But I kind of relate to some of the stuff that he goes through. What he went through must have been tough, and he just didn't want to mature from it. He didn't want to move on. And I've seen people like that before. I've been like that before. Whoa, I just got deja vu. That was weird. Oh, that was weird. There's a glitch in the Matrix right now. All right, guys. Well, I'm just waiting right now because I'm gonna do a tamale talk. So I'm gonna start another stream in a bit. But whenever Chewy gets back, me and Chewy are gonna do a little tamale talk. Has Ron ever held a real rat? Maybe I did get to know this season on Aang. That's not a show I particularly want to rewatch. Yes, Ryan, June. I got to do tamale talks with you. Go to the next vid. Yeah, might as well. I'm just gonna sit and chat while we do this one. He's gonna sound so slow now.
Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Before we proceed, let me just preface this video by stating that this
I don't like the ending either.
Just a theory, and that it's all in the name of speculative fun. The Harry Potter prophecy is a major driving force of the Harry Potter story, foretold by seer Sybil Trelawney. The fabled prophecy foresaw the birth of the person who would have the power to defeat Lord Voldemort. And to begin to unpack today's topic further, we need to take a look at the prophecy a little closer.
Wait, why are you guys saying,
Sybil Trelawney, the now Hogwarts
talking about my deja vu and doing weird eyes?
At Hogwarts. During her interview, a disappointed and unimpressed Dumbledore began to lose interest, when suddenly Sybil entered a trance. In her trance, Sybil spoke of a boy that would be born at the end of July, that possessed the power
Yeah, Jables is a great point.
himself. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the 7th month dies. And the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not.
Guys, I am doing some people's together.
Live while the other survives. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will be born as the 7th month.
So I'm
dies.
doing Becky and
And
Nandella.
Harry
I'm doing
prophecy
theirs
that the
together.
family
So if you want to do
takes
yours
Lily and
together,
Harry into hiding.
so you're not
Because
crazy
their son
shy and you
Harry
can feed off another
doubled the
person,
criteria.
that can work.
Born as the 7th month dies. Had no one heard Sybil's prophecy, then there likely wouldn't have been any need to go into hiding. But
You guys can chat
fortunately
about
for
that
Potters,
if you
Snape,
guys want to do
who was
that.
then a Death Eater, was eavesdropping at the door, and it didn't take long for him to relay this new information to Voldemort.
Nemo, I have to do
From
one with
Snape's
you.
perspective, this was his first mistake.
June, I am just
But it was
suggesting
also
that you
perhaps
can
the
do one
cause of
together.
more
That's all I'm
unpredictable,
suggesting.
opportunistic actions on
You
Snape's part
are coming
that
up
will
with
potentially
preconceived
forever take away
notions that
from
I'm
his
suggesting
character.
something else,
So
which
Voldemort
I'm not.
unquestionably hunt for the boy that was
You
prophesied
are
to
making
vanquish
the
him,
assumptions.
began plotting. Aware of the imminent danger, the Potter family put in place all sorts of preventative measures to ensure that they wouldn't be found. Most importantly, the Fidelius Charm. An immensely complex spell involving the magical concealment of a secret inside a single living soul. The information is hidden inside the chosen person or secret keeper and is henceforth impossible
Nemo,
to
that's why I make it fun.
unless, of course, the secret keeper chooses to divulge it. The secret keeper that was eventually chosen.
Miko, I gotta do
has
one with you
proved
too. We
to
should
be
do
worth
Nemo
it.
and Miko
And this
together.
is mainly because everyone felt that the likely
And then
choice
we'll have a
was
5-hour
Sirius
debate
Black
on
and
Snape.
targeted. However, we know that Peter Pettigrew later revealed his true colors, and in one infamous act
Yeah,
of
yeah.
cowardice
The
and
questions are
cruelty,
always the same
revealed
pretty
the
much for all of
location
them.
of
I'll send you guys
Voldemort
the
to
questions.
not even a week after he was made secret keeper. And it was this very act that resulted in the murder of both Lily and James. But why, you might now be asking, would Snape voluntarily relay the prophecy to Voldemort, knowing it would risk the life of Lily Evans?
Yes,
Who
Avery,
cared
that'd be
about
great.
the most?
You can join the
The
book
only
club
girl
too.
he ever
Whenever you
loved.
become a member,
Well,
you're
Snape didn't exactly
you
think
can
it
join
through.
book
You see,
clubs.
Snape only heard
The
first part
newt
of the prophecy
levels.
and didn't really interpret it in any way.
Or
He only
also
opened
known
up
as
some of
the
conditions of the prophecy
nudists.
and and probably didn't check to see who met those conditions or did not have enough of them to narrow things down to Harry and Neville. At the time, the
I'm not really paying attention to this one.
Snape had no knowledge that it could have been about Lily's child. Harry and Neville had not yet been born, and Snape had no contact with Lily, so he wouldn't have even been aware of her pregnancy.
Yes,
When
Nemo, I'm
Snape
so pumped for that.
did become aware that the prophecy referred to Lily, he went into
Lizzie's
meltdown,
almost done with
desperately arranging for a meeting with Dumbledore atop a windy hilltop.
book 4, so we're
The
going to keep
encounter is
speeding through it.
observed by Harry through the pensive. At this point, Snape subscribed to the inhuman philosophies of Lord Voldemort. He was a killer, traitor, liar, and betrayer of all those who had trusted him. The longer Harry watches, the better he's able to piece together Snape's position. Overcome with guilt and knowing that Voldemort's knowledge of this prophecy...
Book Club is
directly
becoming your
put Lily's
favorite on
life
this
in
channel.
jeopardy,
Yeah, Book Club has been so
Snape had
fun.
no other choice than to go to Dumbledore.
Just a name, you got to
He was
join.
powerful enough to
Membership,
defeat
$5 a month.
Voldemort and protect Lily.
Join the book
Of
club.
course, Snape never knew that Dumbledore would fail in protecting the woman he loved, but in that moment he became vulnerable.
We need more hot
and
takes on
confided
that.
in the wise old wizard. But for just a moment, don't let Snape's devotion to Lily distract you.
I'm excited when we get into like other stuff in the books that are going to cause some more debate in the book club.
A man who had realized the error in his ways and was acting in an altruistic fashion. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case, and that Snape, at least in that moment in time,
Yes.
hadn't changed at all. Yes, Snape wanted to save Lily, but he also wanted something else.
Thanks.
And what came across as selflessness was actually largely opportunism. At this stage, Snape had been an active Death Eater for several years. He had witnessed and committed atrocities firsthand. How am I supposed to believe that, in one instant, his very core shifted? Yes, he cared for Lily, but no one else, and Snape actively hated James. I think that Snape used this opportunity to have James Potter killed. The prophecy, the prediction, Trelawney. Yes. How much did you relay to Lord Voldemort? Everything. Everything I heard. That is why. It is for that reason. He thinks it means Lily Evans. The prophecy did not refer to a woman. It spoke of a boy born at the end of
early
July.
books are
You
a
know
lot
Lily.
of
He thinks it means her
some of
son
the same
is
kind
going
of,
to hunt her down. Kill
not a
her.
ton of hot takes in the
If she
first few
means so much
books.
to you, surely
The
Lord
later
Voldemort
ones,
will
it's when we'll
spare
get
her.
into some
Did
spicy
you not ask
stuff.
for mercy for the mother in exchange for the son? I have. I have asked him. You disgust me, said Dumbledore, and Harry had never heard so much contempt in his voice. Snape seemed to shrink a little. You do not care, then, about the deaths of her husband and child? They can die as long as you have what you want? Hide them all, then, he croaked. Keep them, safe. Please. In this passage, Snape shows genuine concern for Lily Evans' life, but he also shows very little regard for the lives of Harry and James. It's also clear from the above passage that Snape spoke with Voldemort first, and that the only reason Snape turned to Dumbledore was because he wasn't confident that Voldemort would in fact spare Lily's life. We aren't actually given the conversation that Snape had with Voldemort, but I'd be willing to bet that he completely threw James under the bus, offering up his life on a silver platter. And I don't think that Snape is guilty of just not asking Voldemort to save James. I think he asked him to kill him. Dumbledore had seen and done a lot of horrible things over the course of his life. Along with Grindelwald, he had schemed to pursue the Deathly Hallows with intention to enslave Muggles and put wizards in power. He had also indirectly contributed to the death of his own sister, and so for Dumbledore to be disgusted to the extent that the text describes, it must have been abundantly clear to Dumbledore that Snape wanted James dead for his own creepy, obsessive intentions. He must have read between the lines and saw that James dying was a desired byproduct for Snape. Snape protected Harry later in life because his very existence contained a loose thread of Lily's, but James meant nothing. And what was Snape's motive here? Why, unhealthy obsession, of course. My point is this. Besides his concern for Lily's life, Snape saw a silver lining to the prophecy. It was a way to get rid of James, his childhood bully, once and for all, and it was an opportunity to have the most powerful dark wizard in the world do it for him. But this does also bring me back to when Snape first relayed the prophecy to Voldemort. Conventional understanding would suggest that Snape simply hadn't read between the lines when hearing the prophecy, and thus never made any connection to Lily, freely providing the information to Voldemort. But are we truly supposed to believe that Snape was so naive? Snape had one of the most brilliant minds in the entire wizarding world, and for him to hear about the prophecy, not even begin to use any sort of powers of deduction, seems highly unlikely. I think that Snape knew all too well who the prophecy was referring to, and saw this as an opportunity to distance Lily from the family that she had established for herself. In adolescence, it was always him or James, and with no James around...
Maybe the question, I do want to read the Game of Thrones books, but I also want him to finish the freaking series before I start reading them, because I don't think my heart could take it if I start it and he dies after he writes the 6th book and we have nothing. I don't think I could take that. I don't think I could take that. I think I would struggle with that. That's what I'm saying. A Song of Ice and Fire is 5 books in, but not the sixth. He hasn't written the sixth, and he hasn't written the seventh. Yeah, I think I have to wait for him to finish. I just don't think I've wanted to get into them so bad because I've heard they're so good, but I just my little heart. Yeah, sorry. Did I say Game of Thrones? Sorry, I meant Song of Ice and Fire. Sorry, sorry, sorry. You're sure he won't finish? That's devastating. Why he's I mean, he's had gaps between what he's written before. He's had like 10-year gaps between cuz the first one was written in what, 91? No, 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 not I just need the normal Wikipedia page. 96, 99, 2000, 2005, 2011. Dude, this is such a big gap. Jeez, that's a huge novel. I hate that he's doing so much other stuff too. I'm like, dude, how old are you? 75. And he just can't do that. I don't know if I could do that. It's a little, the books are worth a read anyway. It's a bit sad that he kind of just gave up on them. Because this is going to be one of those, this is going to be like such a maybe not a contentious one, but like when he dies, the I guess the fill-ins, the rights of what this book is going to be, and someone's going to try to rewrite the series. It's going to mess things up, man. It's going to be all over the place. Ugh. Dude, my guy's from Bayonne, New Jersey. He lives like a few towns over from me. I didn't even know that. It's a cool signature. Ooh, Sanderson to finish the series. Yeah, I don't think Sanderson and George R. R. Martin are the same writers in any way. I think Sanderson's more of like an entertainment author, and George R. R. Martin is a world builder. The guy who wrote Dune, I think, should fill in for George R. But he could take it in an unbelievably boring direction, so that could be a little dangerous. But that guy is a world builder. Is he dead? He might be dead. Frank Herbert. Yeah, Frank Herbert's probably dead. Oh, bummer. He died when he was 65. These came out so long ago, I guess. Dune came out so long ago. Well, there goes that plan. He's old. He would have been real old. He would have been 104, 103. Ooh, could Rowling? That's an interesting theory. If she stuck to the writing, I think she could kind of pull it off. Um, yeah, I tried Sanderson. I tried one book of Sanderson, and I didn't think that he was a great writer. It just felt cliche. Some people say his characters are so good and his characters are so deep and yada yada yada. And I read those books and I was like, there's just too like these characters are just built on more cliche. And I couldn't do some of it. It just wasn't it just didn't have like the originality for me, I think. Honestly, Stephen King might be a decent option for that to fill it in. See, Mistborn was the first one that I tried, and I couldn't. I was like the characters. I just didn't. I couldn't do it. I don't know. I'll try it again. I'll definitely try again soon. Yeah, for sure. But there's like a specific genre of fantasy to me. Like the Harry Potter series is so original because how many people were doing this? It's like one specific thing, like just general fantasy. I'm like, I don't, unless you're building worlds and you're gonna do books over the spans of years, like George or like Tolkien. I'm like, get more specific about some of your fantasy. I don't know. I just don't know if he's the best world builder. I don't know. I haven't read too much of him, so I can't really have an opinion of him, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. A little hot and cold about that. um, I'm definitely not a great lover of fantasy. I'm interested in his human nature. Hmm. She stuck to that very well. Sanderson has too many rules for his world building. Interesting. He's very little mysterious vibe. Interesting. Ooh.
Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we'll be discussing the top 10 worst ways that canon has been broken in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. When an author builds a fictional universe over the course of several decades, there are bound to be small contradictions here or there. But in the case of Harry Potter and the ever-expanding universe of the wizarding world, there have been some pretty big doozies when it comes to the canon being not just broken, but completely shattered. Now, I understand that starting off a children's book series in 1997 and continuing to build that world for a more mature audience as it was adapted for the silver screen over the course of a couple decades
doing this
would be
just
quite
to
the
prod you.
undertaking. And some of the bits of canon that have been ignored throughout the years don't really offend me all that much. But there are contradictions to some of the canon that just blatantly disregards the original way that the story of Harry Potter was told. And these are the ones that I'll be focusing on in today's video. The following changes to canon are the top 10 that make many fans feel quite infuriated, myself included. 10. The late addition of Aberforth's son. Throughout the original Harry Potter series, we learn very little about Professor Albus Dumbledore's younger brother, Aberforth. The sparse, early depictions of him paint the man as a somewhat uneducated brute who had a weird thing for goats. This is pretty well summed up by Albus when he shared the following in the Goblet of Fire. My own brother, Aberforth, was prosecuted for practicing inappropriate charms on a goat. It was all over the papers. But did Aberforth hide? No, he did not. He held his head high and went about his business as usual. Of course, I'm not entirely sure he can read, so that may not have been bravery. From there, little more is revealed about Aberforth and his history, other than the fact that he was...
Time out. Maybe because I have a low opinion of Dumbledore and Albus now, but now that I read this line, I think it's just Albus not being a good brother. Aberforth's son is a, what do they call those? A satyr? No, what is Mr. Tumpkins? Mr. Tumnus. What is Tumnus? Mr. Tumnus? Yeah, Mr. Tumnus. What is he? Tumnus is Narnia, I know, but what is he? What creature is he? A satyr? That's what Aberforth's son would be. Agreed. That's why in that line, a fawn. Thank you. Wow. Why couldn't I think of that? That's why this line, I almost think that he's just being a jerk to his brother. I don't think it breaks canon that he has a son.
Bravery. From there, little more is revealed about Aberforth and his history, other than the fact that he was the owner of the Hogshead Inn in Hogsmeade, and part of the First Order of the Phoenix in the late 1970s. And I suppose we also discover in the Deathly Hallows that he was fiercely protective of his younger sister, Ariana, and later punched Albus in the nose during her funeral. All in all, however, we never really learned anything concrete about the wizard. That is, until the movie release of Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. In this installment of the films, we discover that Aberforth sired a long-lost son who is, surprise, Credence Sparebone, the American Obscurial from the first few movies, aka Aurelius Dumbledore. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that this breaks canon, but at least to me, it felt really shoehorned into the narrative.
No
and to be honest, it just didn't fit with what we had previously.
I totally disagree with this. I'm sorry, I totally disagree with this. Ariana did have a big forehead. I think this makes Aberforth's character so much more interesting, and I think it actually makes Dumbledore's character more interesting because, again, this knocks Dumbledore down a few pegs. It's not like he's this perfect, omniscient, brilliant. He is, but it's not like he's a perfectly moral person. He's mean. He doesn't like or agree with his brother on a lot of things, and has issues with his brother, and even in his old age. Credence was boring. I kind of agree, but Credence is boring because he's just confused. Aberforth, a better Dumbledore. I kind of am with you. And the idea that Aberforth had a son humanized him so much more for me. When I saw this theory, I knew that, Aberforth and the whole goat thing and everything that Albus said about him, I'm like, all that is just skewed because it's coming from Albus's mouth. But when this movie came out, I was like, I loved this edition because it gave me greater depth of Aberforth in a small way. Again, yeah. I kind of agree. He did nothing and affected nothing. I completely agree. He was like a non-character. Honestly, the whole Fantastic Beasts movies, I think all that it really did for me, which I actually kind of liked, it's like a deep dive into really one character, and you don't know who that character is until the very end, and it's Aberforth. He's not the only one, because you get Newt and all these other characters. You get interesting things about them, but it's really just about Aberforth, and you don't really know that until the end. So it's not the greatest movie or anything like that, but I find that fascinating, to be honest. I actually love this edition. This is one of my favorite editions that they made in these movies, that Aberforth had a son.
Learned about this gruff, rough and tumble character. The brother who maybe couldn't read and had a weird thing for goats had a secret, tender love affair with a human woman. I don't know. It just didn't fit with the canon of the Dumbledore family.
Yes, it did. I completely disagree with this. It didn't fit with Albus's take on who Aberforth was.
That had long since bought into. 9.
So if you take what Albus Dumbledore says as complete canon, then it would.
The pronunciation of Voldemort. For decades, fans of Harry Potter have been referring to he who shall not be named as Voldemort, with a hard T. Then, in 2015, almost 20 years after the release of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, author J.K. Rowling shared that it was actually meant to be pronounced with a French accent in which the T should be silent. Now, if only we had the novels to go by, this would have been an acceptable clarification. But considering by 2015, all 8 movies had also been released in which Voldemort was pronounced Voldemort, I say, what gives? As Rowling was involved in the making of the films, she would have had ample opportunity to correct this mispronunciation, right? So to casually drop in years later that we've all been saying Voldemort wrong for decades seems to break what was believed to be canon for years.
Yeah, I agree with this.
Hogwarts Foreign Exchange Program. In the Goblet of Fire, foreign wizarding schools outside of Hogwarts are mentioned for the very first time. And not only are they mentioned, they are actually central to the very plot of this installment in the series. As the 2 European institutions, Beauxbatons Academy of Magic and the Durmstrang Institute, are, together with Hogwarts, the 3 competing schools in the Triwizard Tournament. And of course, the Goblet of Fire almost entirely revolves around the events of this tournament and the participating students from the 3 schools. What's more, when the potential champions from both Beauxbatons and Durmstrang first arrive at Hogwarts, It is too much
Dewey makes
gawking and
sense too.
fanfare from the British pupils, almost as if the students of Hogwarts had never met students from other countries. And yet, in 2016, WizardingWorld.com shared that Castelo Bruxo, the Brazilian school for magic, is well known for its participation in an exchange program with Hogwarts. 7. Conflicting ages and
That was
timelines.
interesting.
Now, I understand that when casting actors for a film, you can't always find someone to represent a character perfectly. And in the case of the Harry Potter franchise, the filmmakers who were adapting the novels to the silver screen had to make the choice on whether or not to age up some of the characters
Castle
in order to
Wizard.
cast Alan
That's where I
Rickman
go
as
to
Professor
school.
Severus Snape. They, of course, decided to do so. And while Alan Rickman's portrayal of Snape is quite fantastic, this choice definitely broke the canon that had
That's
been
interesting that he
established
says
around the
it's
timeline
fantastic.
of Harry's parents
I like
and
it,
witches and
but
wizards who had attended Hogwarts with them,
it's definitely different from the
including
book.
Snape. For making Severus older in the movies and in the novels then had a domino effect on the rest of the cast in the films, as they're all supposed to be the same age as Snape. As a result, all of the movie characters in that age group, from Snape to Lily and James Potter, Sirius Black, and Remus Lupin, were cast as older actors than their book counterparts. Essentially, this group of witches and wizards were made to be about 10 years older than they had originally been written. In addition to this difference from original canon, there has also been some contractions in terms of Bellatrix Lestrange and Snape's ages. Comparatively, there are a few instances where it's mentioned that Bellatrix and Snape ran in the same circle while they
Chewie, you're
attended
back.
Hogwarts.
Nice. Chewie,
Yet
as soon as this
Bellatrix
video is
meant to be
done,
about a decade older than
I'm going to
Snape.
end the stream.
Since
We'll do
Hogwarts
our
offers 7
Smiley
years at
talk.
school, this would have made it impossible for the two to have been part of the same group while they were students,
If you're ready.
as they simply would not have been there at the same time. 6. Nagini was once a human
Yeah,
Maledictus.
Avery, I'm kind of with you on that.
Never, not once, was it ever alluded to throughout the Harry Potter series.
Okay, I like this actually. Or no, I don't like that. It was Maledictus. I like what he's saying.
That Lord Voldemort's pet serpent,
This was
Nagini,
weird and
used to be a
confusing to
human
me.
witch.
I didn't like
For
this
over 20
change.
years, we were led to believe that she was no more than a snake. A large and vicious snake, but a snake nonetheless. Then, in 2018, The Crimes of Grindelwald came out and completely
Nemo,
broke
agreed.
this canon.
That's why I
Apparently,
kind of
Nagini
love
had been
him.
interconnected to Albus Dumbledore.
But I think Snape
by
did
way
pull
of
out
his
something
long-lost
interesting,
nephew,
or
Credence,
Rickman did
since
pull
at
out something
least the
interesting in Snape.
1920s.
He made him
And
a
not
bit
as
more
a
human.
serpent, but as a young witch who'd been afflicted with the
It was a good
Maledictus curse.
interpretation of the
This
character.
previously unheard of blood curse only affects females, and from what we see in the film, it seemingly allows the
Interesting, I didn't know it
Maledictus
only
woman to
affected females.
shapeshift into a certain animal at will for a time, before eventually transforming her into that beast permanently. 5. A witch or wizard
that
can be their
was-
own
that was
secret
weird.
keeper. This next example of canon being broken is, in my opinion, a rather brutal one. It's also one that was broken relatively early on in terms of the Harry Potter franchise. You see, after learning about the Fidelius Charm and the Prisoner of Azkaban, this brand of magic crops up a couple times again in later installments, with Albus Dumbledore hiding Order of the Phoenix headquarters at number 12 Grimmauld Place, and then Bill Weasley hiding his home, Shell Cottage. For those who may need a little reminder, the Fidelius Charm is a spell that allows a person to conceal a secret within a chosen secret keeper's soul. Once the spell has been performed, only the secret keeper can share the secret, and anyone else who may stumble upon it accidentally would be unable to actually see it for what it was. Now, here's where the canon gets broken. Lily and James Potter wanted to protect themselves and their baby, Harry, when they learned that Voldemort was after them in 1981. They decided to hide their location with the Fidelius Charm. They chose Peter Wormtail Pettigrew as their secret keeper. Pettigrew then betrayed the Potters to the Dark Lord, and the rest is Wizarding World history. This is tragic in the way that the
yeah.
Potters put their
Number
trust in
one
the
of
wrong
an
person.
adaptation, kind of
But
agree.
then, as I mentioned,
But
in the
still.
Order of the Phoenix, Dumbledore becomes his own secret keeper for the
I like
location
Rickman's
of number
depiction
12
of Snape.
Grimmauld Place. And in the
Just
Deathly
gonna
Hallows, Bill is his
stick
own
into my
secret keeper
guns.
for Shell Cottage. So why, oh why, would Lily and James have risked their lives and the life of their infant by choosing someone else
This
as
is a
their
great
secret
point.
keeper
I've actually never
if they
thought
could
about
have
this
just
before.
chosen themselves? 4. Minerva McGonagall's impossible appearance in
Interesting.
Fantastic Beasts. Professor
Yeah.
Minerva McGonagall is famous within the franchise for her no-nonsense, loyal attitude. She's strong, powerful, and a real legend among the Hogwarts professors. But as legendary as she is, she's not capable of being somewhere before she's even been born, right? Well, in both Fantastic Beasts movies, The Crimes of Grindelwald and The
There
Secrets
was
of
some like
Dumbledore,
explanation to
a
this
young
one.
professor by the name of Minerva McGonagall shows up in a couple scenes at Hogwarts and Hogsmeade. Why is it a problem, you may be asking? Because these movies take place in 1927 and 1937, respectively. And the Professor McGonagall that we know and love from Harry's days as a student at Hogwarts, she wasn't born until 1935, which means that in the first Fantastic Beasts film that she shows up in, canon indicates that she would not have been alive yet, and in the second,
I have
she would have only
several
been 2
things I
years
would
old.
like to say.
3. The capabilities of a time turner. The time turner. What a nightmare to untangle. This simple device has caused so many fans headache after headache. Some of these headaches were temporarily cured with, if I'm being honest, pretty lazy explanations. However, at least these explanations accounted for some potentially serious plot holes. But then, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child basically went back on everything we'd been told and ruined everything. Allow me to explain.
Ruined
When the concept
everything.
of the time
Wow,
turner
that's
first showed up
dramatic.
in The Prisoner of Azkaban, it brought up many questions like, if time travel is possible, why couldn't Harry just go back in time and save his parents from Voldemort? To this and other questions, we were given the answer that the past cannot be altered, and what's done is done. This closed the loop on any potential alternate timelines. Time turners also could only travel back a few hours at a time, as anyone who engaged in time travel was subject to the effect of aging. equaling the amount of time they had traveled. This again helped fans understand
Yeah,
why
fan
Harry
service
couldn't
and being
or
faithful.
shouldn't
Kind
go
of
back
agree.
10 years, as he would have lost over a decade of his life, and he then wouldn't have even been able to do anything differently once he got there. Finally, in a somewhat anticlimactic fashion, all the time turners that were owned by the British Ministry of Magic were said to have been destroyed during a fight in the Department of Mysteries. But in a complete contradiction to basically all of that, in The Cursed Child, the characters go back in time far further than a day.
Come
with a time
on,
turner
I don't even
they
wanna
seem
talk
to have
about that.
somehow magically recovered, in order to change the past. I don't know about you, but I feel a migraine coming on. 2. The Muggle camera that worked at Hogwarts. Here's a canon break that bothers a number of fans, despite it being rather benign. The presence of Colin Creevey's camera and its ability to function at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Someone give me an explanation of
Harry
this.
Potter superfan Colin Creevey, a first-year student at Hogwarts, was rather interested in all things Harry. This in itself is not the problem. The problem, in regards to canon, is the fact that Colin is constantly carrying around and using a somewhat old-fashioned Muggle camera. And, as we've been told, Muggle electronics do not work at Hogwarts School. Otherwise, wouldn't there have been many other gadgets and pieces of tech popping up at the school throughout the series? This one actually might have an answer. You see, Colin's using an old-school film camera, and if the camera is old enough, i.e. pre-60s, then it's likely that it doesn't use any
It's not
electricity.
digital.
1. Bellatrix and Voldemort's baby girl.
Oh,
Coming in
it's-
at the top of
it
today's
was
list.
there's something, I keep forgetting what this is. I mentioned this in a new level, but I forgot where. I might have been on a binge mode that I recently listened to, where the creatures actually can create like an electric current for it or something like that. So with Colin's camera, it is an old camera, so it doesn't really, it's like a film camera, so it's like a crank. So it makes sense that it works to me. Yeah, I don't even want to talk
As
about
the
this
worst
one.
way that Harry Potter canon has been broken is one example that has become rather infamous within the fanbase, and that is the fact that Bellatrix Lestrange and Voldemort apparently had a baby together. In The Cursed Child, it is revealed that Bellatrix gave birth to a baby girl
Literally,
named Delphine,
this whole thing
whose
is
father
just
was none other than the Dark Lord himself.
the Cursed Child.
Now, this
sucks.
makes little sense when put into context with the original series. First of all, there is no indication that Voldemort and Bellatrix had an intimate relationship. Was she obsessed with him? Sure. Did Helena Bonham Carter's representation of Bellatrix hypersexualize the witch's character? Certainly. But did these two have carnal relations? No. Voldemort does not seem even slightly interested in Bellatrix in this way throughout either the novels
Yeah,
or
the other
films.
10% don't
Not to
care.
mention that he was so focused on becoming immortal and taking down Harry that it seems rather unlikely that he would have even found the time for this type of distraction. But for argument's sake, let's say that he did enjoy the company of Bellatrix. What about his weird new body? I mean, it was created by Wormtail in a
Palpatine,
cauldron,
yeah, it's a
and he ended
weird
up having
one.
a face that resembled a snake.
Old
Could he
man.
really have been up for it? Then, of course, there's the timeline of it. Now, the act of conceiving Delphine is not the issue. I suppose Voldemort and Bellatrix could have sneakily done that at any time. The problem is more about pinpointing when Bellatrix would have been pregnant and given birth. Considering that in order for the timeline to match up to Delphine's age in The Cursed Child, Bellatrix would have had to give birth sometime during the events of the Deathly Hallows, I find it incredibly hard to believe that this is what happened. For example, Bellatrix is in tip-top fighting form when the trio run into her at Malfoy Manor, and she tortures Hermione and kills Dobby. She's clearly not pregnant in this scene, and that's one hell of a recovery if she had just had the baby. Also, speaking of the baby, if Bellatrix was no longer pregnant at that point, where in Merlin's beard was Delphine? And with that, we've come to the end of another video. What did you think? Do you have any other
a
terrible
great
ways
point.
that Harry Potter canon has been broken?
I'm intrigued to go see the play. I know it's controversial, but I want to go see it. Oh, this is so cute. I was reading some of these little ways that people love my husband's. That's so cute. New York Times did this like 100 things of how people show love in small little ways. It was adorable. All right, everyone. If you're a member, you can watch me and Chewy talk over some Harry Potter stuff. But I'm gonna end this stream and I'm gonna do a Tamale talk, and this Tamale talk will be released a little bit later, probably early next week. But for members, it's available right now. So impetus to become a member. You're going to read it, but you need to make an account. Bummer. I should just take screenshots of it all or something. All right, everyone. I'm going to end this. Have a great night. And that's it. That's all I got. Have a great night, guys. I know. That was the first thing going on in my mind. I was like, I just want to see Chewy's movie collection. Walk me through every movie in detail. That's like the greatest movie collection I've ever seen in my life. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in some of y'all probably see in a second. But see you guys later.